Ma'am, Praveen Kumar is not added in Teams, ma'am.
Send his email ID here in the chat box. I'll add.
Okay, ma'am.
Guys, have you completed the homework what I have given in the last class? Anyone
Yes.
tell me that which problem I have given?
Yes. Wait a minute.
Yes. Please read out the problem. Which problem I have given?
A person X has a farm which is rectangular in shape. X wants to plant coconut trees in the farm, and he has heard that every tree has to be planted 2 feet apart. He needs to calculate the number of plants to be purchased, given the length and breadth of the farm, design an algorithm, and write the Python program to calculate the number of plants to be purchased. For example, if the length and breadth of the farm is 9 feet by 4 feet, then the farmer can plant trees in position 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 along the length and 0, 2, 4 along the breadth. Therefore, number of trees to be purchased is 5 multiplied by 3 equals to 15.
Okay, ma. Have you solved the problem?
Yes, ma'am. But
Can
I'm
you
not
please?
really sure.
Pardon?
I'm not really sure whether it's correct. Plus, you also told us to make the PAC chart for that.
Yes, only tell the input tree processing and output for this problem.
Okay.
You completed PAC, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Input. What is the input of for this problem?
Distance between the two trees,
Okay.
length and breadth.
Okay. Processing.
Processing area of the rectangular farm
Okay.
and number of plants to be purchased, that is equals to area of that farm.
So area of the rectangle you are calculating, that is size of the field.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
okay, then is it correct, guys? Which form the formula? What she didn't told the formula, right? So how will see how many? What is the question in this problem?
We have to calculate the number of plants to be purchased.
Okay, I have given the example also. No number. For that, you tell me the answer.
Ma'am, it should be L cross B.
L cross B.
Length multiplied by breadth.
Then that's all.
That's all.
No, okay, length into breadth will get the area of the rectangle. Then how we'll find that how many number of trees there is plants we can able to
Ma'am, area divided by
yes.
2.
Distance between two plants.
Wait. Other girl
Ma'am,
is
can I tell the answer?
telling. Yes, area divided by
Area
Ma'am,
divided by 2, ma'am.
why
They
you have
given that distance between the trees equal to 2 feet, ma'am.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Is it correct?
To
ma'am,
we
Hello.
should take a decimal part, ma'am. We should not take decimal part, ma'am.
That is not a problem. Is the formula is correct or not?
no, ma'am.
No. Then
Ma'am, first we take the length and breadth in
okay.
integer values,
Okay.
and then first we put the if statement that to check if it's divisible by 2 or not. If it's not divisible by 2, then we subtract it by 1 and divide it by 2, both for breadth and length, and then multiply it to get the number of trees.
Okay, you have told a very detailed programming way. I am not okay. It's correct only, but as a PAC chart, so what
Okay.
we want the length and breadth of the area, right? Like a
Yes,
field,
ma'am.
length and breadth. Here in the problem, they have given that in a distance of 2 feet, they are planting the tree, isn't it? So how many trees we can able to plant in the given area? So area divided by 2. Is it correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So this is the answer. Then
Yes.
output will get that how many number of trees we can able to plant. That is the question. So for PAC, we want the exact logic how we are going to be solved, right? Either you are going to put the if condition for checking integer, float. These are all the things in programming we will check. First, we should understand how to solve the problem. So if we got this logic, then further we can check the output, what format they are asking. Then we'll go for that. Okay. Who is the first girl who answered? Name?
Ma'am, it's me, Dhriti.
Kriti. Have you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you told only the formula, but we have to divide it by 2. Then only we'll get how many number of trees we can able
That's
to.
why I was saying that I may be wrong this time because
No, it's not wrong. Okay, your initiation is correct, but this is the way we have to learn. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Others, can you understand this? Any other problem I have given?
No, ma'am.
Only one I have given.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then we'll continue that. Meanwhile, I'll add that person 1 second. One student, I'll join in the class. This Prem Kumar is newly joined student.
Yes, ma'am.
I have added him and asked him to join in the class. Okay. I think we completed up to this, right? Finding the area of the circle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. I think you guys know the formula for finding the area of the circle.
Ma'am, you've given this problem earlier also,
I think for writing PAC, I have given this.
Yes, ma'am.
So the program for this is this one. Just first we have to get the radius of the first radius we have to get. The radius may be a float. That's why the input I have taken as float of input. And pi value we can give as a constant like 3.14 here, or otherwise we can use one of the library. Math is the library. So what is this library means like many mathematical functions like log, cos, sine, like that. If you want some of the value or if you want to use some of the mathematical function, we can import this library. This library will have the program for all this function. Simply if you are putting import math, and wherever you want to use that mathematical like a math function, you have to put math dot the pi. Then it recognizes that you are asking the pi value here. Then pi value will be replaced and it will be multiplied with radius and finally will print the area. Right? Any doubt, ma?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Please read this problem, another exercise. And you have to write the PAC chart. Second one. You have to write the PAC chart, pseudocode or algorithm or program for this exercise. So everyone please write the PAC chart, algorithm or pseudocode, program, if possible program. Randomly I'll call any one student and I'll ask you to explain about the solution of the problem. PSC chart over.
Yes, ma'am.
You want to see the screen? Huh? Okay. Sai Lakshmi.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me the PSC chart, ma. What you have written? What are the input we need for this problem?
Cost of one computer, ma'am.
Yes,
Number of computers.
yes. Then,
Number of tables.
yes.
Cost of one table.
Okay.
Number of chairs. Cost of one chair.
Mm.
Number of hours worked by wages,
Okay.
by labor, ma'am.
Very good. And processing, the
Wages
same
per hour.
formula.
Ma'am?
What are the formula I have given? Same thing. You can how to put it in the processing. Is it correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You can directly write cost of computer equal to cost of one computer into number of computers, and cost of furniture equal to number of tables into cost of one table, plus number of chairs and into cost of one chair. And similarly, we have to put a labor cost. And what are the output we'll get from this problem?
Uh, Cost to be spent for setting up the lab.
Okay, that is we'll get the cost of sum of the cost computer plus sum of the cost of labor as well as furniture. The total sum will get the amount
Yes,
what we are going to be spent for setting up the
lab.
lab. Very
Yes,
good. Completed, huh?
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma. So this is the PAC chart. I think it's very easy formula. Finally, by adding all the things, we'll get the budget of the lab. Okay, budget of the lab equal to cost of computer plus cost of furniture plus labor cost. So those who didn't complete it, please check the PAC chart. And this is the program. Program is very easy only. So we want the cost of the computer. Actually, here I have taken as a float because sometimes the cost may be in float, and number of computer it should be in integer only. And similarly, cost of the table it might be float, and number of table integer, and cost of chair, and number of chair, wages per hour, and the number of hours the wages like the workers has to work. So these are all the things we have to take it as a input. Just I have used only the input statement here. The print statement is given for understanding. So as it is an example problem, I have given the print. But when you are writing, no need to write the print because you guys are going to be write the program. You know that what type of input you have to give, and don't use unnecessary print when we are going to be solve the problem in VPROPEL. In VPROPEL, we should not give any extra one space also in the input or output. Clear? Please check the Python program. And after getting the input of all the things, next what we have to do? Just we have to give the like a formula as it is. So cost of computer equal to, and one more thing is when we are going to be write the program, see here. we should be very careful that if you are using small c, then you have to use a small c here. If you are using capital C, then wherever you want to refer this cost of computer, here you have to put the capital C. Python is case sensitive. Okay. In the initially, which variable you are using, same variable up to the end you have to use. If you are changing that, if you are giving any extra character or any space, or if you are changing the case of the lowercase or into uppercase into lowercase, then the Python won't recognize. You should be very careful when you are using the variable or identifier. Here, cost underscore capital C computer you have given. So you see that in the calculation also you have to use the same thing. COST cost underscore capital C computer. If you are changing the case sensitive, then definitely it will show the error. What are the variables you have used? So same thing you have to use here. And what is the meaning of this plus slash? I have discussed in the class. It is called as a, what is the meaning of plus slash, ma?
Augmented assignment.
Coming to this. A equal to A plus 1. In augmented assignment, how can we write this? Augmented assignment, how will write this?
A plus equal to 1.
Sorry, A plus equal to or A equal to plus?
A plus equal to 1.
Wait,
A
wait,
plus.
Similarly, if I want to perform sorry, I think it is it's not augmented operator, right? Number of table into cost. What is our formula? Number of sorry, ma. It is not augmented operator. I thought it is augmented. It's not augmented operator. It's a type of mistake, right? So number of table into cost table, cost per table plus cost of the chair into number of chairs. Sorry. So augmented, I will use the augmented operator. So I'll write this. Wait, hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So if it is A equal to A by 2, how will write in augmented operator? A slash equal to 2, right? So A slash equal to 2, the meaning is A equal to A by 2. Similarly, A plus equal to 1, the meaning is A equal to A plus 1. Okay, so this is about the augmented operator, but here we didn't use the augmented operator. And what is this? Can you understand this? What is this? What is the purpose of this
Only
function?
The
two
answer,
decimal
the
places.
answer should be in only
Two
two
decimal
decimal
Ah,
points.
Two
Two
decimal
so
decimal
what is the
places.
answer we are getting? It will be round off to the 2 decimal places. So to round off the decimal places, we have to use the function format. And which one you are going to be format? The budget value. How many decimal places you are going to be format? So 2 decimal places. F means floating point. That is decimal places. So 0.2F. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next problem. Please read the problem and write the PAC chart. If any doubt in for solving the problem, you ask. I'll give explanation. So probably our vPropel account created. Then next lab or the next after the next lab, I'll conduct one in-lab test. In-lab test means just check that how you are practicing in the vPropel. And in-lab does not carry its mark, but it is a practice, right? So in our entire course, weekly once I will conduct the in-lab exam. In-lab exam means inside the lab, you have to, I'll give one problem and I'll check that how you are solving in vPropel, right? For this CSC 1001, we no need to refer any book. Even if you are referring the book also, our problem may not be available. Only my class, if you are attending properly, then that is more than sufficient. We won't ask any question apart from this. Again, I'm telling that from the beginning to ending, you will get the problem in this way only. Now I'm showing no browsing problem like that. Maybe sometimes the problem will be a simple problem, complex problem, or very complex problem like that. We'll increase the difficulty level only in the problem. We won't make any changes in the pattern or whatever it is. Whatever problem we are giving, you have to read the problem, understand, you have to write the PAC chart, and followed by how to write the algorithm or flow chart, and finally, sorry, algorithm or pseudocode, and you have to write the Python code, you have to run the code and satisfy the test case. This is the pattern of the examination up to the FAT exam. So carefully follow the class and train yourself. I'll give I'm having a lot of question because from the beginning I'm taking this course. I'll give many problems for practicing. So your hard work and exercise, that is daily how to solve the problem. Even in the vPropel also, daily one problem they will post it. If you are solving, then you will get the practice. Practice is very, very important. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
is the question is like the boundary condition, user can only browse for maximum of 7 hours and after that it is check boundary conditions. Is there like any other
No,
part?
actually, normally, if you are giving an input, we have to set some boundary condition. So, for how many hours this program will work? So, other question, other side we may ask. For that, just we are setting the boundary condition. That means our input is maximum of 7 only. That means if you are giving 8 to 10, 9 hours browsed means, then automatically your program has to tell that invalid input. That's all.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So we are doing that. So that means that the browsing center is allowing a particular person to browse up to 7 hours. They are not allowing more than that. So if the user is giving the input more than 7 hours, then automatically your program will tell that invalid input. No other problem. That is the call as a boundary condition.
So we still need to like show the cost, like
Pardon?
there is a price given like 1 hour rupees 50, 1 minute rupees 1, and rupees 200
Yes.
for 5 hours. So for 7 hours we have to multiply 50 into 70 into 7.
Oh, wait a minute. So 7 hours, suppose the person worked for 7 hours, you are asking.
Yes, ma'am.
7 hours are same formula only. For first 5 hours, 200 rupees. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
So remaining how many hours will be there? First 5 hours, 200. In 7 hours, remaining hours, 2 hours.
2 hours.
So what they are telling? 1 hour 50 rupees.
600.
That's
600.
600.
No.
No, ma. First 5 hours, 200 rupees.
300 rupees, ma'am.
300.
ma'am.
300 rupees.
300. Where it is given 300? Oh, totally you are telling 300.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, totally 300. So the first 7 hours the person work means first 2 hours the amount is 200, and 5 hours if we subtracted from 7 hours, remaining will get 2 hours. 1 hour 50 rupees and 2 hours means 100 rupees. So 200 plus 100 will get 300. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Guys, have you written the PAC? First, I'll explain the problem. This problem, little bit we have to think it off. So when the problem is given, first we have to check with the given some sample input, and we have to do the manual calculation that we used to call. Say for example, a particular customer or person worked for, we'll consider 5 hours, 30 minutes. Okay. The person browsed for 5 hours 30 minutes. How will calculate the amount? So in the problem it is given that the person worked for more than 5 hours, that is browsed more than 5 hours, or 5 hours browsed, then there is a constant amount that is called as a 200 rupees, right? If the person browsed below 5 hours, what is the amount?
1 hour
50
50
per
rupees.
1 hour
50
50 rupees and 1 minute 1
hour.
rupee. Suppose
Yes.
the person 1 minute 1 rupee. Okay, the person worked for browsed for 5 hours, 5.5 hours. Okay, well, we'll consider 5.5 hours. 5.5 hours means what? First 5 hours
5 hours
200
and 30
rupees.
minutes.
5 hours 30.
30.
And remaining 30 minutes 30 rupees.
So
So
230
how much he
rupees.
has to pay? 230 rupees. Suppose the person
Yes, ma'am.
browsed for 4 hours 30 minutes. How much amount he has to pay? 4 hours 30 minutes.
230 rupees.
Again 230. Why? Because the
Because
person
it is
not browsed for 5 years. So for every hour we have to multiply with 50 rupees.
50.
So 4 hours, 4 into 50, 200 plus 30 minutes extra he worked. So 1 minute 1 rupee. Totally he will get 30 rupees. So 230 rupees. Suppose the person worked for 6 hours 30 minutes. What is the amount? First 5 years 200 rupees, and remaining 6.5 hours I told, no, remaining 1.5 hours for 1 hour 50 rupees.
330.
280.
330.
280 ma'am.
280, ma'am.
280.
280.
Clear? So this is the problem. Everyone understand the problem?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So now how we'll go for the PAC? Once again, wait.
Number of hours and minutes browsed. The time for which that person has browsed.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
PSC chart. Tell me the PSC chart. How we have written? What are the inputs we need?
The number of hours for which the person has browsed.
Okay.
And minutes. Number of minutes also.
Yes. We need hours and minutes the person browsed. Say for example, a person browsed for 5 hours 30 minutes, then we need the hours value as well as minutes value. So here we are not doing big calculations. So I say for example, if the problem is given as 230 minutes, then you have to do the conversion. We are not making what is asked for that only we have to work. Here we have to give hours separately, minutes separately as the input. And what is the processing we have to use?
We'll check the number of hours browsed.
Yes, ma'am. We have to check whether it is under 5 hours,
Yeah.
above
Yes.
5 hours.
The amount the time browsed is if it is less than 500, then we have to
Then
use the
it should
formula.
be 1 hour into 50.
50 plus 1 minute into
That
1 rupee.
1 rupee.
Suppose if the person browsed more than 5 years, then what we have to do?
We
5
have to minus the number of hours. 6.
Yes, number of hours minus 5. Then we have
to add 200.
200 plus
With the number of
remaining.
hours into 50 plus 1 minutes into 1 rupee.
Very good. That's all. Okay, finally we have to add the amount, we have to print it. I'll show the PAC.
Ma'am, then what about the 7 hours? Ma'am?
7 hours condition you have
The boundary condition.
First, initially you have to check whether
Okay,
the number of hours worked is greater than 7, then you have to tell that invalid input. If the number of hours worked less than 7, then you are checking that, see the processing, you are checking that whether the number of hours browsed, it is greater than 5 means what we have to do, then we have to add the 200 amount for the first 5 years and subtract that 5 from the number of hours worked, and we have to add that amount with 500 into the remaining hours worked plus 1 minute into 1 rupee, and finally we have to add all the things, then we'll get amount to be paid. Are you clear, guys?
Yes.
Now it is the processing is in the statement. Now you have to convert into formula because we have to write the program, no? So for getting the number of hours and minutes, we are having a input statement. Just you have to give the hours work equal to int of input and minutes worked equal to int of input. You will get 2 input. And how will apply the processing? See this pseudo code. So we have to read the hours and minutes separately. And if you want to set the boundary condition, here you have to set. If hours is greater than 7, then the invalid input. Less than 7, you have to do this. Okay, the boundary condition is not a matter. If it is specifically asked in the problem, you do that. Otherwise, you can omit. Here, what we are doing, if hours greater than or equal to 5, then what we are doing, if hours greater than or equal to 5, then first I am assigning the amount equal to 200 because for first 5 years amount is 200. Initially I have given amount equal to 0. Now I'm adding my amount equal to 200. Next the hours worked I am subtracting from the total hours minus 5. Okay, then I'm adding that amount plus how many hours remaining here into 50 and that amount plus minutes into 1, then I'll get the total amount. Whether can you able to understand this logic? See, I am separating that problem into 2 parts. One is hours browsed more than 5 and less than 5. Say for example, the person browsed only for 4.5 hours. So I'm setting amount equal to 0. This condition will be fails. Directly it will come here. So amount equal to amount plus hours worked into 50. That means already the amount is 0. 0 plus 4 hours 30 minutes he worked. No, 4 into 50. Here I'll get the hours amount. And minutes amount is this amount plus 30 minutes into 1. I'll get the amount. Suppose if the person worked by 5.5 hours, so this condition will be satisfied. In such cases, amount initial is 0. I am adding that amount equal to 200. I am subtracting the remaining hours. Remaining hours means 5 hours I subtracted. So remaining I'll get only 5 minutes. Directly I'll compute the minutes here. And I'll print amount. can able to convert this into program? Is it possible for you guys to do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Write the program.
Yes, ma'am.
If you cannot able to write the program, please try it. I'll help for you. So for read statement, what we have to use in the Python? Input. Here hours and minutes both we are getting as a integer. So what we have to give? You can use any identifier, otherwise hours worked equal to int of input. Pardon?
Int of input, I just.
Yes, int of input, and minutes equal to int of input. Just here taking the, oh sorry, if condition I didn't explain to you, no? Wait. You cannot able to write the program.
Ma'am, I think you did in last class.
No, in Python, whether I have explained the if condition?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
No, ma'am. You have.
No, I didn't. I have completed only the sequential. I didn't went for the selection. Okay, you stop up to the PAC. I'll teach the if condition then, because otherwise for everyone, those who already know the programming idea about the programming language, you can write. Others, please wait, ma. I'll complete that portion. Just you copy up to the pseudocode. Understand about the pseudocode process, that problem solving process. Guys, copy it. We'll do the program later after completing the statement. Everyone copy the pseudocode. So this is the test case. Say for example, hours work is 6 hours and minutes is given 21. How will calculate? So the output will get it as 271. How this output 271 came? So for first 5 hours, 200 rupees we have added. Remaining 6th hour, 50 rupees is added. So 200 and 6th for 6th hour, 50 rupees is added. So 250 and remaining 21 minutes worked. So 260 plus. Sorry, 250 plus 21 will get 271. And suppose the hours worked 8. Actually, in the test case, we in the program logic we didn't add it. If it is added, then boundary condition is added. Hours worked 8 hours means here we have to get invalid input, because this program works only for the up to maximum of 7 hours. Okay. We studied up to the problem solving, like these are all the things previous what we have discussed, everything sequential pattern of solving the problem. Now we'll go that in the given problem, in this given problem, there are some selection is there. Selection means what? It is not going in the sequential way. See, I'm getting the hours and minutes work, and afterwards I'm checking whether it's hours greater than or equal to 5. If it is hours greater than or equal to, it's not greater than or equal to 5. So what I'm going to do that, I'm going to skip this 2 statement. If my hours worked is less than 5, and if it is this condition fails, directly I'll come and execute this. So in this case, I'm going to do some selection. Selection means whether I have to execute this part or not. So who is deciding that whether this 2 statement has to be executed or not? This if condition. Okay, so all the statements in this program, in this problem, may not be executed, right? If this condition is satisfied, this statement will be executed. The condition is not satisfied, this statement may not be executed. This is called as a selection type of problem. So one by one, all the statement is not executed, isn't it? Correct or not? So now we'll discuss that in Python how to use the selection statement. Okay. So the selection statement means like it's one of the control statement. Why it is called as a control statement? It controls which one it controls, whether you to take this one or that one. It's based on, it's making a decision based on the decision whether this statement is executed or not. It has to be decided. That's why it's selection statement. And so the control flow of decision making in Python, how this decision making process will be there. First, we have to take the condition, and actually it's a flow chart. Already we discussed a flow chart. No, checking condition. Condition means we have to use the ramp symbol, and the condition is true. Then this statement will be executed. It won't execute the false statement. Suppose the condition is false, then it skips this statement and it executes this. Guys, can you able to follow? So here, condition is given. If the condition is true, it will execute this. It skips to execute the false statement. Suppose the condition is false, sorry, the condition is false, then it will skip the true part. Okay, it executes only the false part. So either one of the part will be executed, both the true part and false part, it won't be executed. That is called as a decision making or control flow. Which statement? How will give that conditional statement in Python? By using the if statement. If is a keyword. Okay. So if statement, not only in Python, all the programming language, if is a keyword which is used for the selection. Okay. Condition, for checking the condition, we use the if. In Python, how to give the condition is if condition, it should be ended with a colon. Statements else ended with colon statement. That means the condition is true, then the true, this is called as a true statement. The true statements will be executed and directly the control will come here. It won't execute the else part. Condition is false, it won't execute this true statement. The red color circled one is the true part. So if the condition is false, directly it will come to the else part and it will execute the statements followed in the else. Okay, the condition is false, it will directly come to the else part and it execute the statements what is given in the okay, it's a false mark, I cannot able to write clearly. Okay, if the condition is false, directly it will come to else and execute the statements and again it continue the statement what is given after the if condition. Clear? Say, here I have given one example. How to give the if condition in Python? If grade greater than or equal to 70, just grade input, I am taking some of the grade input. Grade is greater than or equal to 70, so every if should be ended with colon. Then I will print pass. Else I have to print fail. That means the grade is not equal to grade not greater than 70. Okay, say grade is 60, then I'll tell is fail. Grade is 10, I'll tell is fail. Suppose grade is 80, then I'll print is pass. So this is, it's very simple. So this is the way how to give the if statement in Python. And in Python, we should be very careful about the indentation. What is meant by the indentation? Indentation is nothing but the spacing. For remaining the programming language, say for example, the if statement here, if the condition is true, only one statement here we are printing print pass. Suppose if the condition is true, say for example, I have to give 10 statements to execute. Similarly, the condition is false, I have to give 10 statements to execute. Then how the Python interpreter understands that these are all the true statements and these are all the false statements. In remaining programming languages, we'll use the braces, whereas in Python, spacing is very important. That means you see here, always in Python, if you are starting if statement in one column position, I'm talking about the column, in same column, you have to use the else. So this I and E should be in the same column. It should not vary. This is the first condition. Next one is, if the condition is true, I'm going to be write the set of statements. So all the true statement should be in the same line. One statement in one place, another statement in another column, then it will show error. You won't get the proper output. Similarly, if it is else, after else, so what I told, I and E should be in the same position. And normally you give, after if you want to give a statement, put one tab space and write the statements. Similarly, after else, put one tab space and write the statement. So all the else statements should be in the same line. Or you can write the both if statement, true statement and false statement like this. Also you can write, that is also valid. All true statements and false statement in the same column. Or you can write in this way, true statements is one column, all the false statement in another column. These are all valid way to give the if statement, valid indentation, which is called as an invalid indentation. Here you see that I started here, where I started here. There is one space difference, so it's invalid. Here it is invalid. Why it is invalid? In else, I told no. All the statements in else should be in the same column. All the statements in true also in the same column. Here, else statement, one statement in one column, other statement in another column. So it will show the error. So very, very careful about the indentation. So I'll write one small program and I'll show. Don't use the capital letter if everything is small letter if. Colon. After pressing enter, automatically it will come to the tab space. If it is goes here, so the statement should not start in the first column, if statement or false statement. At least 2-3 spaces should be there. Here I am writing. Okay, this is a small program I have written. If the grade is given input is greater than or equal to 70, what is the input will or output will get? A hello, pass. If the grade value is less than 70, then I fail. This is the output I want. I understand how I have given if and I and E should be in the same column. And if we are giving these two statements are the true statements and these two statements are the false statement. These two statements should be in the same column and this false statement also should be in the same column.
Ma'am, at the last,
Four.
yeah.
So I'm giving now 78. So what is the answer I'm getting? Hello pass. Again, I'm executing the program. I'm getting high fail. Can you able to follow here? See here, I'm giving one extra space. Print I'm giving in hello. Another print I'm giving in the next column. Just you execute and check it. It will show the error. Unexpected indent. So the indent space is not correct. So it won't accept. Where we have to give? We have to give in the same column. You can move the cells. See, if you are giving, sorry, if you are giving any other place, no problem. But all the else statement, is it a valid indentation what I have given? Whether the program will run if I'm giving. So print here and here. It works correct only. Because all the false statement I have given in the, see I have given, so it's giving the answer hello past. Why it is not error? Because no problem, all else statement in the same line, all true statement in the same line, or you can give all the true and false statement in the same line. So there is no mistake in this one. Say if I'm moving one space like towards this, whether it will give the error, whether it will execute, it will show the error. Because and indent, because this if and else is not in the same position. I think you understand about the indent space, right? Clear? Guys, any doubt? Next
No,
thing will
ma'am.
go. Next thing will go for nested if. What is meant by nested if? We can give one if statement in another within another statement. That is called as a nested if statement. See here, the best example is given. If grade is greater than or equal to 90, say for example, you are securing the mark in the CSE 100. So it's a grade means what? Certain grade. Above 90 means A grade. Or above 80 means B grade. Above 70 means C grade. Above 60 means D grade. Otherwise fail. So this is the thing. It is for the absolute grade. For a CSE 1001 is absolute grade. Absolute grading means what are the mark you are obtaining, for that you will get the grade. Relative grading means based on your other students' marks in your class, the grade will be fixed, right? So in the absolute grading, suppose the student got 98, which grade will be printed? A. The student got 88, then B grade. The student got 77, C grade. Student got a 66, D grade. So how this condition will be tested? Because many condition we have to check. It's not like a true means do this and false means do this. So this is called as a nested if. That means nestedly many if is given, one if given inside another if, then in multiple way if you want to make a decision, then you have to go for the nested if. See here, if grade is greater than or equal to 90, print A, else. One second. See, for this if, this else is given. If it is, if the grade is greater than or equal to 90, then one second, ma. See, if the grade is greater than or equal to 90, then grade equal to A. Else. ஐம்பது 20 ரூபாய்க்கு தருவாரான்னு கேளு. ஜாதிப்பூ 20 rupeesக்கு. Okay, so here for this if this else, again in the else part I am checking one more condition, whether the grade is greater than or equal to 80. If this condition is true, then grade B will be printed. Otherwise, so if this condition fails, then again this else condition will be checked. If condition fails, then this else will be checked. Else, again in the else part, one more condition I am checking, whether grade is greater than or equal to 60. It's true, again this grade D will be printed, otherwise else will be printed. So you see here, whenever you are using the nested if, after this if you are giving, after this else you are giving if statement, so you should give one indent space here. So for this if true part, so you have to give one indent space. So for this else, if this if statement. Again, if this if is true, then one indent space, the print statement should be. And else part, again one more if you are checking, and whatever if statement, whatever the else part, you have to give indent space. Similarly, for this else, this indent space. So the spacing is very, very important. So the spacing is very, very important. Understand any doubt?
No, ma'am.
So if, for example, now I am telling that the student got 65. How this condition will be satisfied? So what it will do? 65. The student mark is 65. I am checking 65. So first it checks whether grade is greater than or equal to 90. So grade value is 65. So this condition fails. So it comes to else. So else one more condition is given. What is my grade is 65 here? It checks whether 65 is greater than 80. Again this condition also fails. So fails means what? Again it comes to the else part. Again here the grade will be checked 65. Whether 65 is greater than or equal to 70? No, the condition fails. Then it comes to this else part. Now what is the grade? 65, right? Now whether the 65 is greater than 60, greater than or equal to 60, yes, this grade D will be printed. Can you able to follow? But here in this nested if, we should be very careful about the what we'll call spacing. So to minimize this unwanted more indent space, one provision is we are having, that is called as a else if ladder in the Python. Here, if you are using instead of else if, here you see this continuously we have to use else if. Here also else if, else one more condition you are checking, else if. So to simplify that, we can use L if is nothing but a else if. Okay, so instead of giving else if in separate statement, I have given L if in the same statement. If you are using L if, then you no need to give any indent space. So all L if you can give it in the same column along with the if else. You can give. This is also one of the good way to use the nested if rather than using the nested if. Guys, are you clear now? How to use the if statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I'll show the program. First, I'll show the program for the browsing, and next I'll give one exercise. You see how I have used the if statement. So first, again, I'm taking the browsing program. Already we have discussed. So here, hours worked equal to, hours worked I'm taking as the input, that is called as int of input. And minutes worked I'm taking as int of input. Okay. Now I'm checking the hours is greater, boundary condition I'm checking. If hours worked is greater than 70, So what is the syntax? Square parenthesis, you have to give the condition colon. Then if it is true, hours worked is greater than 7, then it will print that invalid input. If, that means else. Again, I am checking one more condition, whether hours greater than or equal to 5. I am not using else if, I am using if. If this, say for example, a person browsed for 5.5 hours, then this condition will be fails. So this condition will be fails. If the condition fails, directly it comes to this LF. So in this
Ma'am, I have one
LF,
doubt.
yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, if the hours is equal to 7 and the minutes are greater than 0, then it would still be invalid now.
Hours?
If hours is equal to 7 and the minutes is greater than 0.
That means what you are telling, minutes greater than 0 means. So we are not bothering about the minutes. Hours greater than 7. Actually, this condition, it works even if the person browse for 7 hours. 7 hours also we are calculating. More than 7 hours only, it will be invalid input. Say for example, you are telling that hours worked is 7 hours, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Minutes equal to 0, no problem, right?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. If it's greater than 0, like 1, 2, 5.
Okay. Okay, 5 minutes, 7 hours, 5 minutes, like that you are telling.
Yes, ma'am.
So we are not bothering about that greater than minutes you are asking.
Yes, ma'am.
So then we have to add the condition.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we are separately we are giving no. Separately hours and minutes we are taking no, so that problem will come.
So we'll need one more elif statement where hours is equal to 7 and one more nested if statement to check if the minutes is greater than 0 or not.
Actually, no. We should not make a program more complicated. Normally, we won't take the time in this way, hours, minutes. If it is seconds, then whether we need to include one more minutes, seconds variable. No, normally when the program, general logic I'm telling in programming, we should not take hours, minutes. Either if you want to take it as minutes, seconds, or seconds, hours, hours. So from the minutes only, from the logic, we have to separate that hours and minutes. That is the right logic. But for as a beginning, I'm telling this. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Understand what I'm telling?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
It's
ma'am.
not a good logic. So we should not take hours, minutes, seconds separately.
Okay, ma'am.
So if it is given, whatever the time is given in a day or year, we have to do the proper conversion to get it. So in such cases, this type of confusion, we won't get it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So if the hours is worked less than 5, then it comes to the else part. In the else part, I am checking one more condition, whether the hours is greater than 5. So if it is true, then I am assigning amount equal to 200 and I am subtracting this hour. Say for example, the person is worked for 5 years 30 minutes. 5 years 30 minutes. In such cases, this condition will be failed. So it comes here. So this condition is true. So amount equal to 200. And now hours worked is 5 years. Okay, hours is 5 and minutes is 30. So 5 minus 5, the hours will become 0. So how to calculate the minute? Amount already here we have added. So 200 rupees added. Now extra we don't have any hours because exactly he worked for 5 years, no? So 5 minus 5, here hours becomes 0. So we'll get 0 into 50 plus minutes. Yes, I am having a minutes, that is equal to 30. So 30 into 1, again 30. That's why I have added the minutes as it is. So 200 plus 30, I'll get 230. Right? Finally, what we have to do? Have to print the value. We have to print the amount. Guys, are you clear?
Ma'am, for the hour less than 5, ma'am.
Okay. I'll tell this way. Say, for example, a person worked for 4 hours 30 minutes. So 4 hours 30 minutes. One mistake is there in this program. These two statements should not be in this line. It should be here, because if the condition is true, then this two has to be executed. And further, this true statement is common for both hours worked less than 5 or hours worked greater than 5. Can you able to follow? This true statement is common both hours worked hours browsed less than 5 or greater than 5. Say for example, the person worked for 4 hours 30 minutes. So in hours work is 4 and minutes is 30. Whether this condition satisfies? No. 4 is not greater than 7, condition fails. It will come to this else if. And here also hour greater than not greater than or equal to 5. So directly it comes to this statement because it is outside of the if statement, this two statement. For that you have to move the statement to the first column. Okay, here what I'm doing, amount equal to amount plus has worked into. So here some statement is missing. Here you have to initialize the amount equal to, before this if condition you have to initialize the amount equal to 0. Amount equal to 0. So in such cases what will be happen, amount equal to, already amount is 0, hours worked is here 4 hours, 4 into 50 plus minutes worked is 30. So 4 into 50 will get 200, 200 plus 30, 230, 230 will be printed. Clear? So spacing problem is there. I'll type the program and I'll show. 1 second.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, MIN min will be keyword, no ma'am?
Keyword. Min is keyword. I don't know. Okay, we'll change it as minutes. I don't think so. Min is a keyword in Python. Have you checked?
Yes, ma'am. That's why different color is coming, no ma'am.
Oh, red color came.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe. Okay. Sorry. Okay, correct any mistake in the code. Amount equal to. Okay, I'll run the code. So it's asking the input. I'm giving 5 hours, 30 minutes. Answer is correct, 2:30 for 5 hours, 30 minutes. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Whether
ma'am.
we got the
Yes,
correct.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll give the hours less than 5. 4 hours, 30 minutes. So whether our answer is correct, 4 hours, 30 minutes? Yes. So I'll give greater than 7 hours. Valid input. In why we here it is calculating 400. It's giving 400 also. One more mistake is there. Even though it's telling invalid, this two statement I'm telling you it's common. So in such cases, what we have to do? We should avoid print the execute this two statement because it is telling invalid input. Yes. True means it is telling invalid input. It won't come to the else part. But this two statement is common for all the entire program. That's why even though it is invalid, it is calculating the amount is to 800 rupees. 800 or something it is telling. 800, 400 it's telling. Okay, how it is telling 400 amount equal to 0. Hours worked is 8. 8 into 50. So it's telling 400 minutes is 0. So how to protect this two statement? It should not, if hours greater than 70, even this two statement also should not be executed. How to do it? So again we have to put one more. So how to make a change in this problem that is in this program?
Ma'am, it should be single quote because I did with single and it's coming invalid.
No, not that. We have to make a change in the logic itself. So we'll do like that.
Ma'am, we can add exit or quit, no, ma'am.
No. Oh, is it correct? If hours is less than or equal to 7, right? I am checking whether hours is greater than or equal to 5. So hours is less than or and hours greater than or equal to 5. So this two statement is executed and this two statement is executed after completing this. Suppose ours greater than or equal to 7 is true, ours greater than or less than or equal to is true, ours greater than or equal to 5, then it will skip this two statement and it will execute this. Suppose ours is greater than 7, then it prints this invalid input. Now the logic is correct. Guys? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll execute this. I'm giving now 8. 8 is what hours worked and minutes is 0. What is the answer I got? Invalid input. You see that previously I got invalid input as well as I got the answer is 400. Now the value hours amount is not at all calculated. Clear? And I'm giving 5.5 hours now input. $230 I'm getting. Answer is correct. I'm giving 4.5 hours. 230. My all test case satisfied. So this is called as satisfying the test case. I didn't think it out about the previous cases. I thought it is correct only, right? So why my test case is filed? I didn't think about that after this if statement whether this amount is calculated or not. So I done a mistake. That's why my test cases, my logic is correct. My test cases failed here. So I changed my logic. So in all 3 test cases, this is my test case. Test case means what? I have given input 80. I am checking whether my output is correct. Yes. I am giving input 530. I am checking that whether my amount is correct. I am giving a time 4 and 30 minutes whether my output is correct. So all my 3 test cases satisfied. Guys, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, this is the correct program. So programming is a trial and error only. So from the first attempt itself, no one will get the success, right? I will copy this. Right. So this is the way we have to do the program. You have to keep on try logic till we'll get the exact result. Okay, read this problem.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible.
No, I am not talking. I asked you to copy this one. Oh, I informed no previously. Please take this problem and write the PAC chart and write the algorithm pseudocode. I will discuss. Can anyone tell me the PAC for this problem?
Ma'am, can I say?
I'll give chance to others. Wait. Shruti? Shruti?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you able to explain the problem, ma? How to solve?
Ma'am, input is marks in maths, physics, and chemistry, ma'am.
Very good. Then?
And processing is to find first graduates in family.
Okay.
And to check whether the marks are greater than 98 in maths, physics, and chemistry.
Okay. So in all the three subjects, the mark is greater than 98. Then the student is considered for the scholarship. Is it correct or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have to take the input of maths, physics, chemistry. That is the input process. In processing, we have to check that average. What is given? Who are first
Average.
in family and has scored average of 98. Okay. So for finding average, what we have to do? We have to
Add all the marks
add
and
the
divide
three
by 3.
marks, math, physics and chemistry, and we have to check whether the average is greater than 98. If the average is greater than 98, then we have to print the student is eligible for scholarship. Otherwise, we have to tell that the student is not eligible for the scholarship. Here the boundary condition means the mark should be positive, 0 or positive. We should not give the negative. So normally if you want to write the perfect program, you have to include the boundary condition in the beginning. Just at least try to satisfy the logic. Okay, I think I have given the PAC. I have explained the PAC. So we have to first, and this condition also we have to check whether the student is a first graduate or not. Okay, that is very important. The student is first graduate. If first graduate, then we have to take the first graduate and we have to take the marks. In the checking condition, first we have to check whether the student is first graduate. Then we have to compute the total of these 3 marks, find the average, and whether the average is greater than 98, then we are printing the candidates qualified for scholarship, otherwise not qualified for the scholarship. Please write the algorithm or pseudocode, guys. In the algorithm or pseudocode, you have to include the conditions also, first graduate condition. Written algorithm or pseudocode?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you didn't written, please check this. Your algorithm is given. You can write the pseudocode from the algorithm. So in the algorithm, boundary condition also given. Okay, first we have to read what are the things we have to read? First graduate, physics, chemistry, and maths. And we have to check whether all the marks is greater than 0 or not. If it is less than 0, we have to tell that invalid input, and we should not go for the processing. Otherwise, we have to add the 3 marks, and we have to divide the total by 3, and we have to store it in the average. And finally, for going for the qualifying the scholarship, you have to check the 2 conditions. Whether the student is a first graduate as well as the average score is greater than 98, then you have to tell that the student is qualified for a scholarship. Otherwise, we have to tell that invalid for scholarship. Those who already written algorithm, please write the pseudocode. Those who didn't written the algorithm, please copy it. Okay, after copying this one, you write the program, Python program. Next class, I'll ask the answer. I'll call anyone and to explain the Python code, and or otherwise I'll ask to share your screen. This is the homework, today homework. So for this problem, I have explained the PAC as well as algorithm. You write the pseudocode as well as the program. And one more problem also, you please take down. Like write the Python program. That means Python program means you have to do all the things, PAC, algorithm, pseudocode. For finding the largest of among 3 numbers. That means if I'm giving the 3 numbers, you consider only integer. If I'm giving 5, 8, 10. So which one is the largest number here?
10.
10. Say for example, I am giving 7, 4, 6. Which is the largest number?
7.
So your program has to solve this. You have to take the input of 3 integer values, okay, and you have to write the logic and to find out that which is the biggest number. This too is a exercise, today's exercise. So first problem, what I have told for this problem, what is visible here, algorithm. For that you have to write the pseudocode and program, and for finding the largest among 3 numbers, write the PAC, algorithm, pseudocode as well as the program. Next class I'll check it. Okay, after that I'll stop the class.
Ma'am, attendance.
I'll take attendance once. Okay. Guys, your class has started from what date?
30th September, I guess.
Pardon?
30th September.
30th September. First class on 30th September. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please answer your attendance. Praveen,
Yes, ma'am.
Shyam Sundar K,
Present, ma'am.
Srinivasan,
Present, ma'am.
Trivedia,
Present, ma'am.
Srikanth,
Present, ma'am.
Kevin,
Present, ma'am.
Karthik,
Present, ma'am.
Lava Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Nitish,
Present, ma'am.
Mekala, Bhavana,
Present, ma'am.
Sai Lakshmi,
Present, ma'am.
Akshay,
Present, ma'am.
Muhammad Adil,
Present, ma'am.
Sanjay Kumar, Ashwath Kumar,
Yes, ma'am.
Lakshya,
Present, ma'am.
Swarnalata,
Present, ma'am.
Ayush Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Siddharth,
Present, ma'am.
Karthik, Karthik, Sharon,
Present, ma'am.
Sam Prince,
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Sujapriya,
Present, ma'am.
Elagiri, Arni, Aruni,
Present, ma'am.
Venkatasai, Venkatasai,
Ma'am, he's present. His mic is not working.
Karthikeyan,
Present, ma'am.
Varshini,
Present, ma'am.
Shravan Smith,
Present, ma'am.
Ragania Morgan,
Present, ma'am.
Dhriti,
Present, ma'am.
Sebastian,
Yes, ma'am.
Siddharth,
Present, ma'am.
Vignesh, Tejas,
Present, ma'am.
Shyam Sundar, GS, Hitesh,
Present, ma'am.
Soni,
Present, ma'am.
Rohita,
Present, ma'am.
Veena Sri,
Present, ma'am.
Sheikh Mohammed Sohail, Mohammed Sohail, Diksha, Lasya,
Present, ma'am.
Nitin,
Present, ma'am.
Fatima,
Present,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
Diksha is present.
Abhinav, Praneeth,
Present, ma'am.
Harshita,
Present, ma'am.
Niharika,
Present, ma'am.
Monica, Varun Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Angeline,
Present, ma'am.
Satya Nadi,
Present, ma'am.
Deepan,
Present, ma'am.
Rajvi,
Present, ma'am.
Deepkar,
Present, ma'am.
Students Rohan,
Present, ma'am.
Shruti,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Monica is also present. Her mic is not working.
okay ma. Pratik, Pratik, Gautam,
Present, ma'am.
Kanishka, Prem Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
So today absent is Pranishka, Pratik, Abhinav, Sohail, sorry, Mohammad Sohail, Sham Sundar GS, Vignesh,
Ma'am, Mohammed Sohail present. His mic is not working.
Vignesh absent, Allegri absent, and Karthik, Sanjay Kumar. These are all the absentees today. Okay, guys, thank you. If any doubt you can ask, otherwise we'll wind up the class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You, ma'am.